Thank you. Thank you to this panel. I'd ask for you to exit that way. I'm going to call Darlene Davis, Melissa Tucker, Kate Gahan, Peggy Morton, Laura Ramsey, Sarah Shimmer. The next panel that will be called is Cheryl Park, Harriet May Irby, Lady Teresa Thomas, Carl Lindemann, Susan Stack, and Jane Kirschman. Ms. Davis. Is Darlene Davis here? No. Okay, Darlene Davis will be changed to registering a position in favor of the bill but not being here to testify. Melissa Tucker.
Chair?
Yes.
Before you start, just by way of clarification, are you requiring the witnesses who testify to leave after they testify, or can they stay?
No, they have to leave because we need to make room for the next. We have people in the holding room across the way. As we call 6, we're asking those 6 to leave so that we can continue. Right. There is room for individuals who are not here to testify, and as they leave, others will be admitted.
So they are required to
we would ask
testify
you,
and
yes.
leave.
Thank you for clarifying that. Ms. Tucker? Go ahead.
I wish Senator Hager were still here. As an adoptee, I feel compelled to address the notion that adoption is the solution to unwanted children. The foster care system in Texas and throughout the nation is full to bursting with children in need of adoption. The only waiting list is for healthy, white, developmentally normal newborns. I'm pro-choice and adopted because I believe that adoption should be just one of an array of options that are available to women facing an unplanned pregnancy. Senators, I ask you to be honest with your constituents about what this bill really means. If any one of you truly believes in your heart of hearts that the proposed requirements are designed to improve safety, please take action to restore funding to the Women's Health Program and expand access to sexual health education and contraception. Today, an abortion at any stage of gestation is one of the safest clinical procedures around. It's 11 times safer than carrying a pregnancy to term and twice as safe as a penicillin shot. In the past, before Roe v. Wade, abortion was commonplace but incredibly unsafe. Senator Jewell, on behalf of the 5,000 American women who died annually as a direct result of unsafe abortions prior to Roe v. Wade, many of them Texans who are not able to be here today to testify, I have a cheap pair of shoes that I'd like to leave with you to represent these women who have died due to unsafe abortions. Thank you.
Ms. Jan?
Thank you. My name is Kate Gann. I live in Lockhart, Texas. Senator Zaffarini is my senator. Thank you for representing me. I'm 40 years old. I was born in March 1973, a couple months after Roe v. Wade. Statistically, I had about a 1 in 5 chance of being aborted, so Roe v. Wade did not make this Texas woman safer. 2 specific points today. One objection to this bill has been that it will shut down other services beside abortion. I found and downloaded a 20-page directory of federally qualified health centers. It's right here if anyone needs to see it. Shutting down substandard abortion clinics would not mean there's no other options for women's health. And there was a senator from the El Paso area. There's several clinics in that area. My other point addresses the critique that imposing modest restrictions will risk women's health. We've been told that these restrictions are a radical assault on women's health and rights. I downloaded a document from International Planned Parenthood this weekend. This document details the abortion legislation for every country in Europe. Germany has a 12-week restriction, mandatory counseling and a waiting period. Austria has a 3-month gestational limit. France has a 12-week limit. Sweden, with some of the most liberal restrictions, still has an 18-week limit. Most of the European countries have wait periods, mandatory consultations, and in some you need to have your request approved by a committee, as in Denmark. I urge you to read through this document. Then I ask you to cross-reference the countries that have restrictions with the maternal mortality rate. The 3 countries in Europe that ban almost all abortions, Ireland, Poland, and Malta, are all in the top 20 lowest maternal mortality rate worldwide. The United States, with our abortion on demand, no apology, is in 39th place. So you cannot make the claim that putting restrictions on abortion will negatively impact women's health. It seems the opposite.
Thank you, Ms. Morton.
Hello, Madam Chair and committee members. Thank you for having us here today. I'm Peggy Morton, one of Senator Kirk Watson's constituents, and I appreciate your hearing my testimony about why I oppose Senate Bill 1. I'm speaking on behalf of both myself and as chair of the Social Action Committee for the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin, which means I speak for about 200 fellow justice-seeking committee members who also live in Senator Donna Campbell's and Senator Troy Frazier's and Senator Jaffarini's districts. I want to clarify that we oppose this bad legislation because we care deeply about life, the life of females who find themselves pregnant in the worst of conditions. Many of us will stand up here today and give our individual opinions, but what we really, truly need to do is get serious about dialoguing, not pontificating. We need our legislators to meet and truly work together to figure out what will work best for all of us who care about life. I hope you'll duplicate hearings like this around the state like Senator Watson has recommended to hear Texans who care about families. We need to use our collective conscience to reason and resolve this problem. I've heard compelling stories on both sides that need your attention, and Senate Bill 1 doesn't resolve the problem. That's why both the Texas Medical Association and the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists oppose the bill. When my group of friends first visited the Austin delegation of legislators in January, we weren't wearing orange nor organized in what's now being demonized as an unruly mob. We delivered our flyer and met with legislators and staffers to both share our view about women's reproductive rights and to hear and discuss our legislators' views. Then we watched one of the most civil and statesmanlike legislative sessions in the last 2 decades. Unfortunately, we watched a different body in the last special session. I watched bullies on the Senate floor rather than adults collaborating to resolve a problem. I watched political games at the end of the last session and heard Senator Vanderpute move to adjourn the final session, which senators couldn't hear even though they stood closer to her than I did in the gallery. We were quiet in the gallery until we witnessed your colleagues' unruly behavior.
Ma'am, your time has expired.
Well, please, recognize we need to celebrate life, and every baby should be a wanted baby.
Laura Ramsey.
Thank you. My name is Laura Ramsey. I am a 16-year-old Texas woman. I live in Austin and am representing myself, and Senator Campbell represents me. The pro-choice side does not speak for me or for Texas women. I am going to speak regarding the 5-month limit for abortion on demand. At 5 months is when a pregnant woman usually finds out the sex of her baby. Preventing abortion on demand after 5 months will help to limit sex selection abortions. Some girls who do not want abortions are forced to have them by their parents or by the father of the child. Women who are afraid of being forced to have an abortion will try to hide the pregnancy. At 5 months, women can usually not hide their pregnancy. By banning abortions after 5 months, we will be preventing women who do not want to have abortions from being forced to have them later in their pregnancies. Throughout the world, people recognize that at 5 months or 20 weeks, an unborn baby should have some rights. This bill, SB 1, would have abortion on demand available up to 20 weeks in Texas. In Sweden, abortion on demand is available up to 18 weeks. In the Netherlands, abortion on demand is available up to 13 weeks. In Norway, France, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, Denmark, and Austria, abortion on demand is available up to 12 weeks. I think that abortion on demand up to 20 weeks is pretty reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Shimmer.
I'm Sarah Shimmer. I'm here today representing myself as a citizen living in Texas Senate District 18, but I believe I have the responsibility to speak out and register my opposition to Glenn Hager's overreaching piece of legislation, SB 1. I am a Republican woman. I've consistently voted Republican. I am very disappointed in Republicans in the Texas legislature attempting to impose far-reaching big government restrictions on women in Texas. Based on the recent behavior of Republicans in the Texas legislature, you've made my choice very easy. I stand with Texas women, and I oppose SB 1. Regardless of what my personal beliefs or experiences are, my personal reproductive choices do not give me the right to restrict other women who need and have the right to make very personal decisions based on their own circumstances with their doctor. I support every woman's right to choose for themselves the best direction for their own reproductive health. This omnibus bill is too restrictive, cutting off care for women who want a healthy pregnancy and need the health resources provided by the very facilities this bill will close. Closing these facilities will also deny those women who want to be proactive for their choices and have access to birth control pills to avoid the possibility of having to face an abortion decision. Closing these facilities also puts a burden on very poor women in rural areas who must raise the funds and find the time while juggling many of life's other responsibilities to travel and proactively access this care. I believe those who support SB 1 are very short-sighted. Once a child is born in Texas, and if they're not born into a family with resources, the Texas legislature has not supported public schools, public health programs, or other opportunities that would ensure these children have a decent quality of life. In Glenn's district, I live close to an elementary school where 80% of children rely on meals provided at school. In the summer, when school is out of session, my church fills in the gap providing some meals. The reality is most of these children live in the worst circumstances, and the state does little to nothing to support their right to life.
Thank you. And who is that very patient, well-behaved young lady next to you?
This is Madeline Shimmer. She's my 3-year-old.
I'm glad to have her here. I'm curious, this is the second panel. What time were you all in line this morning?
It's about 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Madeline and I got up at 4:30. We got in line at 6. We checked in at 8:30, and we just appreciate you allowing us to have this testimony.
That is awesome. No matter which side you're on, it is awesome.
Right, and I just appreciate, Mr. Hager, I appreciate you being here. I'm so glad I got the chance to share my thoughts with you. And I am from Richmond, Texas, so thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you to this panel. No questions. Exit out that door. The next panel.